Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Let's do the 0x0c web server project. Now in this project we're required to set up a domain name and transfer files to our servers and everything like that. So let's go through the first step first. Now the first one is just a script, actually a script that enables you to send a file from your local terminal to your web server using the SSH keys that you have. So let's go ahead and see how this works in fact. So now I have a server here. My server is IP address. Okay, so let me just copy the IP address. Now I'll log into the server on one terminal and then log into another and then use one to send the file. So let me get a new window. Now in one of these terminals I'll log into my server web01. Remember in the previous video I explained how we can use scripts to log into our server. So the link to the previous video will be showing in the top right corner of your screen right now, so you can just go ahead and watch it. There we undo the SSH and everything like that. So now I created a script web01 that enables me to log in to my server directly. So let me run this now. So now I'm logged into my server and let me list my files. Currently we don't have any files here except the hidden files. So now let's see how I can create a file or transfer a file from my local device to the server. So now let me just create a dummy file, echo file. Now I have a file called dummy in my device cards. Now you can see I have a file called dummy here. So now let's go ahead and transfer this. Now you can use the scp command to transfer. Now the scp transfers file basically using the SSH keys that you have. So when you use the scp, what you need to provide is the paths to the file that you want to transfer. So let's say in this case I'll use dummy, which is the name of my file. Then Ubuntu, which is the username, and to provide the username of the IP address of the server I want to send it to. So now I'll say Ubuntu at then my IP address. And now what you also need to do is provide the paths to store the file on the server. Now you can see here, first I provided the file that I want to send over the network, then my username on the server at then my IP address. So what I need to provide next now is the path to store the file on the server. So let me say home Ubuntu. So if you check my server right now, if I use the pwd command, you can see I'm in that same path. So it will be in this directory in the server. Now let me enter and you can see what happens here. So now you can see dummy file was transferred. And now let me list my files in the server. You can see we already have the dummy file here also containing the same details. So here we have the dummy file. So now this is where you can transfer files from your local terminal or just basically from any Linux device to another. Now the next thing to do is actually write a script to now like automate this stuff. So now the first thing to do is if you have multiple SSH keys on your device, how do you determine which SSH key to use? For example, if I have two SSH keys and I only set up one, which is not the default one, I need to provide one more input here, which is the -i, then the path to my SSH key. So let me just use this one for example. Let me say dot ssh, then id underscore rsa. So just before I do this, let me go ahead and create a file, a new file. So let me say echo test. I've created a new file now, which is the test. So let me transfer this file to the server using the previous command. So now this, let's say I have multiple keys. Now this is the way I like choose the specific key I want to transfer to the server with. Now let me use the enter, and now it should transfer to the server successfully also. Now that also worked. So now this is the way you like choose which of your SSH keys to use for the transfer. Now when I list my files here again, we have the dummy file, and it was not really transferred, was it? Oh yeah, I transferred the dummy file, not the test file. Forgive me for that. Let me go ahead and change the name of my file to test and not dummy. Now when I list my files again, we have the test and dummy file. So that worked properly. Now let's go ahead and see the script to automate the task. So I'll just go to my repository for that web server. Now as you can see here, this script takes in all the inputs, which is this first, the if condition checks the number of arguments that you pass into the script. If it's the required number, then it continues, otherwise it raises an error and it tells you that something went wrong. So now this scp-o, you can see it uses that -i here also. So this -i is going to be the path to your SSH key, and then this one is your file. The third argument will be your username, and then the second argument will be your IP address for the server. Or just if you have a domain name connected, you can just use the domain name, and that also works fine. So let's go ahead and go check the next task. Now note I'll be leaving the link to my repository in the description of this video, so you can also go ahead and check it out. Now the next task requires that we install Nginx and set it up. Now let's check the requirements here. We need to install Nginx on our Web 01 server. It needs to be listed on the port 80, which is the default port. And then when querying the routes, the GET request, it must return a page that contains the string hello world. Now we should also add an answer file, which will be a script that would install the entire Nginx system. So now this is what they really want us to do here. Let me break this down. So they want us to write a script that would install Nginx on our web server, make it listed on port 80, the default port, and then configure the port 80 that it must return hello world as the response whenever you try to run it. So now let's go ahead and check out this script in my GitHub repository. So now this install web server is the first script and is the one that fills out all these details. So now the first thing it does is update and upgrade your system. That's this one that is here. Then the next thing is to install Nginx web server using the sudo apt-get install. Now this -y means just answer yes to every question that it asks. Now the next one is start Nginx service. Allow the firewall to enable traffic from the Nginx HTTP server. And now we also make some permissions, back up the default configuration for Nginx just for safety purposes. And then we actually create the hello world file for the HTML that will be returned when you visit the web server. So now then we restart Nginx. But instead of just running this script immediately, since we can see that there are other tasks that would actually be a little similar, just a little different. Now the next one requires that we set up a domain name, right? So now this domain name, we have to create a domain name, link it to our web server so we can access it via the domain name instead of just typing our IP addresses into the web browser. So just before we continue that, let's go ahead and check the other tasks. Now this one is just a little bit advanced to the first install Nginx task. This one requires that we set another route that will be moved permanently. Then the third one, which is the task 4, requires that when we visit a page that is not existing on the server, we should return the 404 command, the 404 response, a custom 404 response. Now, yeah, this one, the task 5 requires that we write a puppet file. We'll check that later. So just before we continue, let's go ahead and set up Nginx on our servers. So then we can just use this file, the 404 not found file. So this one does basically everything. Installs Nginx and fills all the blanks for the previous task. So let's go ahead and copy this script and then run it in our server. Okay, so now let me check. Yeah, I'm logging into my server here. So just let me create a new script. Nano. So basically you can use any name for this file. Just make sure it's the same name that you try to run. So let me copy this again. I think okay. I'll paste it in here. So now we have the file here. Let me save my file. Now you need to make this executable so you can run the code. So chmod u+x setup nginx. So just before we go ahead and install this, so you can see that it actually works. Let me try to use the checkers for this project and see that they are actually not working. So the setup Nginx, let me use the checker here. I actually think this ALX speed is not very um, compatible with Firefox devices, because it tends to be more slow when I'm using Firefox. But just let's wait for it. So this is taking forever. Let's just go ahead and run our script. Now chmod plus x, so we'll make it executable, then run the install script. So setup nginx. Now this would install nginx and set it up properly so we can access our web server in our browser also. So you just need to wait for this to complete, and then the whole thing will be set up. This might take a few minutes maximum, so you just need to wait. And now the process is completed. So now when you check curl localhost, you should receive the response hello world, which means it's working properly. So also, if I check my IP address of the server in my web browser, then I should be able to see that same response. So let me go ahead and copy my IP address. Now you can see we also have it here, hello world. So now we can see the installation is proper. So let's go ahead and see for the rest of the tasks also. This is still loading. Let me just reload my page instead. Okay, so now this one requires that when I check curl and redirects me, so this route should now show 301 move permanently response. So let me go ahead and see if that also works fine. So you can use the curl command for this, or you can just use this. So you can see this one redirects all the way to YouTube because that's how we designed it. So let's use the curl command also. So curl localhost. Now you can see also move permanently. So that's working properly. So we can just close this. Okay. So now I guess the checker should be working now. And it's still loading. I don't know why that is. So anyways, if we wait for it, I'm sure the checker will turn out because the task is already working properly. So let's go ahead and check this one if it works. Start a new test. Okay, so just while this is loading, while we wait for it, let's go ahead and set up the task 2, set up the domain name. Now the first thing you need to do here is the say we should use .tech domains as a domain provider. Should use their platform to get a domain name for ourselves and then link it to our web server. So now then we can type our domain name, let's say whatever .tech, and actually see the response from our server. So just let's go ahead and now they give us a coupon to use when purchasing a domain name, so we don't have to actually pay. So I'll explain how that works now. Now you go to your tools, just click this link, it's open your tools, or just follow this link here. So it's open your tools, and here you can see that we are giving a coupon to purchase from .tech domain, so we don't have to pay the fees. Now let's go ahead and open .tech domains websites. Now, if you not, you would need to create an account, but I already have an account, so I'll just log in. Okay, I seem to have forgotten my password. Okay, well, just let me go ahead and reset my password. I'll be back. So I've reset my password now. Let me log in. So now I'm logged into my account. So the first thing you need to do is just click the get.tech to take you to a place where you can actually search for domain names that you want to purchase. So you can just search basically anything you want, just like maybe your name, just choose a domain name that is unique to you, and then you can search. So let me say jeremiah.tech. So then you would see to tell you the price. This one is unavailable actually. So you can see here we have jeremiahclub.tech, a variety of other ones. So let's look for another one. So now here you can see we have darkrunner.tech, and these are the prices. So now if you have you can see here we are seeing something like where is it? So now you can just click add to cart, in this case proceed. So here you can see we have SSL, so you just need to leave this off. You don't need to just tamper with this, just leave it the way it is. Privacy protection, you can just switch this off also. And then you can see if you have a coupon code, just go ahead and paste it here. But mine is used, so if I paste it, it would actually not work. So let's just check that out. You copy the coupon code, paste it here. Then you can click next. So you will see here that my coupon is saying coupon is already redeemed. But if it's not, if you are using a new coupon, you would see to clear out the price, so you don't have to pay any money. Then just click pay online and check out, and so just you don't need to input your card details or anything. It just tell you that you have successfully purchased the domain name. So then after you purchase the domain name, just go ahead into your get.tech page, the default page. Then click accounts. So it takes you to a page where you can actually set up the domain name configurations and all of that. So here now you type in your domain name that you bought, that you purchased. So in my case, that was clickviral.tech. So it takes you to a place where you can configure the domain name with different, like a variety of things, the mail, Google Workspace and everything. But all you need to do here is just scroll all the way down to DNS Management. Now you click the Manage DNS, it's open a tab. Sometimes it does this, but I really don't know why. So let me just click again. So now you can see it has opened this new tab with a record. So now you can just click the add a record. In this field, just leave it empty. You don't need to fill in anything. But here you paste your IP address, like the IP address of your server. So I'll go ahead into this page and get my IP address. Now go back, paste it in here. Make sure you don't have any spaces before or after, and then click add a record. So that is just really leave it. Just paste in your IP address for this destination IPv4, and then leave all the other fields the way they are. Then click add a record. So now this should successfully link your domain name to your IP address, which is your server. Now it might take a few hours, let's say 1 to 2 hours to work properly, but if you're lucky, in a few seconds it should actually work. So let me go ahead and see if I run clickviral.tech in my browser. You can see we're having trouble finding that site, but in a few minutes or max a few hours, 1 to 2 hours, it should link to our domain name. So I would just wait that out. I'll pause the recording, wait that out, and then when it's done, we'll come back and see how it works. Welcome back, everyone. So after a few minutes, the domain name is actually set up properly now. So when I check clickviral.tech, you can see now I'm having hello world in my response. So also, if I should check using my domain name called clickviral.tech, my server, you can see that also returning the same response, hello world, which means whenever we're visiting clickviral.tech now, it will link to our server. So that's working properly. So the next thing you need to do is actually provide this this name, your domain name, inside of your profile, of your intranet profile. So now next thing to do here is go to clickviral.tech and then save it. So now the project website URL, provide your domain name, whatever it is, just provide it here, and then you can click save my information. So then you can go back to your checker and actually check if it works. So in the meantime, let's also check if if the rest of the tasks are checked properly. So now you can see also these ones are checked. So now for the domain name, let's click start a new test, and now let's see if that's checking properly also. So now you can see that's also complete. Let's check the others. So now for the redirection, remember we're checking that before. Also that's complete. For the not found page, that's also complete. Yep. I'll just check again in case. So now for this one is using a Puppet file to install and configure Nginx. So we'll not be discussing this in full here in this video, but I'll just go ahead and show you the file inside of my repository. So now here it's a Puppet file that installs Nginx in your server. So now when you run it to install Nginx, so now this is the update system function. Install the package, which is Nginx, the file that we're going to save. So now this is basically just replicating the install script using a Puppet file. That's basically everything. So now thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, please just leave them in the comment section. I'll respond to you immediately. And please like the video and subscribe. That would so you can receive notification when I upload new videos. So all right, thank you so much for watching. I'll be leaving the link to my GitHub repository in the description of this video. Also, I'll be leaving the link to the get.tech and everything in the description. So just check that for more information. Thanks so much for watching again. Goodbye.